James. Welcome to Digital Charcuterie. What's on the screen, Scotty?
I am hyped, bro. We have Blue Beetle set photos, like
yeah,
out of nowhere, out of left field.
Like they said they were going to start shooting. I think at the end of August they started shooting. So now we finally get a glimpse of Blue Beetle. Let's bring us on the screen
amazing.
right now. This costume looks, and the thing is, whenever you see superhero costumes, first of all, Marvel. That's Scotty Hawk from Hawk's Holocron. I'm James, Digital Charcuterie. Thanks for joining us. Give us a like and subscribe. The thing with Marvel is they don't seem to be using suits anymore, right? It's always like the motion capture stuff. This is legit. And the thing I love about this is this looks amazing.
I'm going to pan out nice and slow for you.
Yeah. It's not even lit properly, this costume right now that we're looking at. This is like the worst lighting, the most unflattering lighting you can give it.
No CGI elements.
No, and it looks like, so sick.
Oh,
I have heard.
God, it's
I
amazing.
have heard that it will be a combination of CG and practical because of the.
Dude, I hope there's lights in there. I feel like right underneath this center. Oh, I can see it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. It looks great. You have more pictures. We're gonna get right into it. We're talking Blue Beetle. We're talking Batman, the Crisis of Infinite Earths. Because DC is finding their groove, right? You can argue that they had it with the Snyder stuff, but for whatever reason, they weren't. Warner Bros. Wanted to move on for that for whatever reason. It could be financial, it could be whatever.
We're all confused. We're all still confused.
Dave Sherfield in the chat right now. It is the actor from Cobra Kai. He will be playing Blue Beetle in this. This cast is fantastic. Yeah,
DC.
And
don't do this kid wrong, please. I'm begging.
Look,
the Cobra Kai fans are begging. Like
the Cobra Kai fans are all up.
Oh my God!
Look, this movie was initially an HBO Max release. Let's not forget that. And what's even more fascinating about it is now when we're in the post. Yeah, you keep going. When we're in this post merger world now, what's even more fantastic about that and fascinating about that is. They made that decision before the merger because the merger now is all about theatrical releases for these films. We heard the rumor about Batgirl, but but this movie was one that they before they decided to go theatrical, they said this is going to be in theaters. So look at that. That is, dude, that was great. Could you ask for a better looking Blue Beetle? Like if you're a Blue Beetle fan, diehard fan, neither one of us are diehard.
I'm having
an
issue
fans,
over here right now because of this helmet, dude. Like I already want the helmet. I want this entire cosplay right now. This is picture perfect. The concept art that we've gone over before on the channel.
That's what this is. They took that and they put it through a 3D scanner or something. Yeah, it's this is fantastic. It's fantastic. It's just technology is at a point now where there's an action shot. Actually, put that action shot up because that is a wild shot. I didn't see I actually didn't see that when you sent it to me. Look at that.
Yo, and I gotta shout out my guy Veed from the Nerdvengers because he shared this out on Facebook and I had not seen it. I think it was comicbook.com. So I'm not sure where all the photos originally came from, but man,
I saw it on just Jared, I believe is where I got it from. Yeah, it's phenomenal stuff.
And it looks like it moves well too. Like the claws on the hip, on the rib cage.
I was actually just gonna say, I bet you he can pee in that. Because you know how like every superhero, they're like, just make sure you got a costume you can pee in. Yeah. That's my guess is that he can actually pee in this one. It looks awesome.
Yeah, no, this is all practical, Dave. But we think like it's pure speculation that the suit will have lights, obviously, for the eyes and the patterning, like right here in the chest. Like this is lit up all in the concept art. So I mean, one can only assume they're gonna add way more to this, dude.
And like I said, moves on him. Exactly. I did hear. No, don't apologize. This is what we do. We talk. we geek out and stuff.
Yeah.
But I did hear like early on that it was going to be a combination of CG and practical. And I think I'm guessing there's multiple suits that he's gonna be wearing as well, right? Like some that will be more. With the motion capture stuff on it, and one like this where they're like, let's just do a practical.
Well, dude, here's the thing. There's casting rumors too. Did you see that?
I did. We should talk a little bit about it. Because I don't know what the Ted Cord thing, I think, is
Dude,
non-existent.
we should have been like 1, 2, 3. Ted Cord, it's him. He's the dad. That's the guy.
But I don't think we're gonna get Ted Cord.
No.
No,
But,
I think
okay,
it's
so
gonna be
Cord
Victoria Cord.
Industries.
It's Victoria Cord, which is being played by Susan Sarandon, I believe, is who finally did. By the way, I gotta show these. Jurassic World's coming out. I got some blue. Look at that.
Let's go.
I'm a sucker for marketing. I just wanted to show that on the show. I'll eat them later. But I don't think it's gonna be Ted Cord. Because we keep like first it was like James Marsden, and I think somebody else they said.
So the original guy though, like I think we're gonna get flashbacks. You were talking about multiple suits. That's how we get it. There were 3 Blue Beetles technically.
Yes, there's a possibility that Ted Cord is in it, but Victoria Cord seems to be the focal point, and she's the villain, I believe. And that's the
and who is that that was cast already? Like
Susan Sarandon, I believe.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, this cast.
Because originally, because we heard rumors that it was Sandra Bullock, and then we did a show, and then you were like, breaking news, Sharon Stone was just cast, and then like a week later, they're like, it's Susan Sarandon. We're like, what's going on with
now? They're
casting?
saying Jason Sudeikis.
Not saying Jason Sudeikis is in for Ted Cord. It's Jason Sudeikis for Ted Cord, and it looks way better than the
Screen Rant's also saying grains of salt here, people.
The Smallville version was it was something else. I love when I do videos on Blue Beetle. I get to play the Smallville Blue Beetle stuff. It always makes me. But that was a different budget entirely. Like I said though, this one was. It's exciting that this went from HBO Max to theatrical, which kind of gives it, the confidence for me as a viewer. That's like, okay, maybe there's something to this movie.
What's pretty funny too is like I'm just doing quick Google searches on like casting. The name that comes up debunking this, Humberto Gonzalez. So he's like an infamous scooper, but he's been quiet on a lot of stuff.
He's been all over. Recently. He's been all over this movie though. He's been all over.
So he says no Sudeikis at all, not even in the movie. So ignore everything I literally just said.
I mean, again, that was all rumor. And they're definitely casting a male in that age range because it's too much of a coincidence that it's Sudeikis, James Marsden, right?
This was
yeah, that looks great. That mask is that's gonna be a Halloween
picture.
Halloween 2023. Every kid is gonna go out as Blue Beetle, 100%.
Yep, parents get ready. Couple hundo.
The most
easy.
It'll be
for the helmet,
the 80s costume where the mask is actually just one of those black plastic masks that have the elastic on. Yeah, the boots are good for sure.
Fire.
It's so good. I think I don't know. I think they've done a.
I'm just gonna say it, man. It has Snyder vibes.
No, it does. But here's the thing.
It doesn't. For me, it's not vibing like the Flash suit, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
it
got
might
this
be a little.
Like.
Yes, Boogie Woogie. This is Blue Beetle. This was just released like an hour ago, I guess.
Oh my god, bro! Like today,
we were going to talk about one thing, and then I was like, oh, Blue Beetle, and I didn't tell you, and then you're like, we got to talk about this. Yeah, there's your favorite one right there.
Oh,
it looks great.
And it's like these set photos so perfectly don't show the back, bro. Because I'm telling you, there's probably almost nothing back there. Like that's where that CGI is going. That's where that thing's moving, talking to him. This is DC Venom. I'm hyped.
Boogie Woogie's it looks like Iron Patriot. Yeah, a little. Here's the thing. You mentioned the Snyder. You mentioned the Snyder stuff though, and the one thing is, as much as they want to get away from all that still exists in the world, right? And even though the Flash was going to do whatever it does to all that stuff, Supergirl's costume still looks like a Henry Cavill Man of Steel version of.
Dude, no matter how many crisis events, how many we're gonna cast our 5th Superman down the line, and then there will be a thing in a movie. They'll be like, Snyder. Like it's not. You can't. But we've said it, and I've said it to nauseum. People sat down and watched a 4-hour black and white cut.
Yeah, it's true. But
so,
I think not.
That's where my brain goes.
Yeah, I know. Look, but his fingerprints are all over it because he was all over it. And even if you want to what they're doing smart, I think, is, and I mean, they're going to take a lot of people off, but they're not getting completely away from his films, right? They're kind of gradually removing themselves from the Snyderverse, I guess, into whatever the new era that we're being ushered into is. And the reality is, we have to go to a new usher anyway. We have to go into a new era anyway. Marvel's in a new era, and people are up in arms about that era. And I think it's just the way it goes, right? And now, like, and you can love Zack Snyder all you want. You can hope he does more of these movies, and I would love to see more of his movies in the DC universe. But the reality is, he's knee deep in Rebel Moon, and he's knee deep in Army of the Dead. He's got his stuff going on over there, and Twilight of the Gods. Like, he's really in with Netflix right now, and he has a good thing going over there. So I think we should appreciate what he's bringing over there, and try to appreciate over here. Though I'm gonna talk over you.
I think he and Rian Johnson, very similar positions. They have trilogies. They're just on hold while they deal with the Netflix stuff. So, hey, I mean, Justice League 2 trilogy. I mean, I'm here for it. Confirmed by me today.
Yeah, confirmed by you. David says he hopes that Affleck doesn't leave for good. W better have Henry Cavill back in. I think the Henry Cavill thing, honestly, I'm with you. Henry Cavill's my favorite. I've got Man of Steel 3D Blu-ray right beside me. I watch it all the time. I think he's done as Superman, though. I want him back. Don't say I don't, but I want him back. Here's why. He got screwed over for so long from WB. He's now had opportunities to do the Sherlock Holmes thing, to do Mission Impossible. What else is he doing? He's doing something else. He's up for Bond, apparently. He's got a lot going on. He doesn't need Superman as much as maybe Superman might need him or want him. And if WB doesn't want him and pay him the money he thinks he deserves, then I think he's done with it. Like, his career isn't relying on that. As much as that sucks to hear, and it does. Apparently, the rumor is that he wanted one amount of money, and Warner Brothers said no. And we talked about this last week, Scotty. When he did Man of Steel, they should have signed him for 7 movies. They should have said, "Here's your." Or you know what? No, because I don't think Man of Steel, I don't think was ever meant to begin a shared universe like the MCU. It just kind of happened to come out when the MCU exploded. And I think when they did Batman v Superman, that's when they should have said, "Here's your 7-picture deal." Like, they should have made him sign that right then and there. And we probably would have. It might be, a terrible filmmaker, because it might not have been Zack Snyder, but we might have had him in Shazam, and he might have been in a Man of Steel 2 or spinoffs or whatever. But instead, they I don't know, they screwed up big time on that, and they had him sign, maybe it was a 2-picture deal or whatever it was. But now
I think that's where you can come back, though. I think Shazam and Black Adam are the only hope for a storyline that somehow includes Henry Cavill. And I would even be open to a Man of Steel 2 taking place current, post Justice League, so where that movie ends and it's like the 7 standing there. For me, he could literally just pick up right from that spot in the second movie. They could factor in the Supergirl, Flash stuff, etc. But as long as he's there, and then a return of potential Black Adam, like, it's still doable. It's going to change because it's a multiversal thing that can just say, this is the DC cinematic universe version of this telling, I guess.
I guess the one thing working in Henry Cavill's favor right now to possibly find a way to return through all this bull crap that's going on
Black Adam
is no. I mean, like, not film related, like behind the scenes nonsense. It's that the word is now is that the merger, Warner Discovery is very unhappy with the J.J. Abrams Bad Robot deal right now, because if you remember, they signed a deal and J.J. Abrams got all these DC characters, and he was working on Superman, Constantine. There was some other. Apparently,
I remember that Dark Justice.
There was a few
Zatanna movie. Sorry,
there's only 2 scripts. Apparently, only 2 scripts. No, Zatanna was something else. But there's only 2. They've only seen 2 scripts, and apparently they're very unhappy about that. And one of those scripts that they haven't seen is Superman, which has been worked on for over a year and a half or something like that now. Maybe, about a year and a half or so. They're working on that, which arguably is not a large amount of time, but it's also an IP that everybody knows. Like, Superman's script shouldn't take that long, I guess. But they're not very happy about that. So that's one thing that maybe somebody could come in and be like, well, let's just do a Cavill movie. We have an idea. This guy Brainiac is out. Like they could, that is one way to get him to come back, is that this J.J. Abrams stuff looks like it's going to fall through. And now he just signed a deal to do Speed Racer with Apple. You can only juggle so much. So it seems like maybe J.J. Abrams is on his way out from DC and they won't be doing much over there. So that was just one thing I wanted to talk about there, because I don't, I get, and Boogie Woogie agreed they should have locked Cavill in for Soups.
I look forward to the next like DC fandoms, things like that. All the events that take place post merger, post takeover, shake up. Like
I can't wait to see this Blue Beetle. Like the first, this whenever fandom is, if it's October again, we get our first little trailer of Blue Beetle, even if it's like the original, like a little short one, like the first Guardians one. It's going to be exciting because it looks like it's fun. And the one thing is, even though it's Blue Beetle and he's not the most well-known character, the crew behind it is so invested and passionate about making it that I think they're not, it's not, like a Morbius. They're not making it because Warner Bros. Is like, you need to make this. They're making this because they want to make it, which is similar to like a Zack Snyder, right? Where it's like, you want to make this movie, or like Christopher Nolan wanted to make Batman. Even Matt Reeves wanted to make Batman. That's how it feels to me. That's the vibe I'm getting from this.
The most intriguing thing to me about all the younger characters is like, who's going to get there first? Are we going to get Young Justice? Or are we going to get Young Avengers? Like, I feel like one of these movies, just one of the movies that features, or one of the shows like Hawkeye, something like that, that features a young Avenger character, a young casting, just one of them to take off. And then that company is going to be in the lead as far as like a team up. And this kid, man, this Miguel Diaz from I'm not going to try to pronounce his actual name. Sholo. I think it's Sholo. But man, you just got this attitude already. They're not even filming. And everything that him and the director said about the ethnicity of the character and the connection they feel with him, like the passion's there. Like you said, I'm high hopes for this. And I think that's why it went from show to movie.
Boogie Woogie thinks Young Avengers will do even better if they get it later than DC. DC rushes everything,
and he's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. And look, I think Young Avengers is going to come first for sure. I mean, look, DC had the multiverse first, and they just keep delaying the Flash movie. By the time the Flash movie comes out, Marvel will have closed their multiverse. We might be sick of the multiverse by the time we get the Flash movie. But yeah,
companies are doing it in reverse. Like DC started with the team up and then broke off a little bit, or like rushed into the team up.
I think DC, their new mentality that they're doing these movies that was said, where they're going to do creator-driven films first, and they use Joker, the Batman, Suicide Squad, stuff like that, where they're like creator first. I think that's the smartest way to do it. The flip side of that is arguably Zack Snyder and David Ayer were both director first in it. And they kind of took those away from both of them, right? Like every time Zack Snyder does a movie, there has to be an extended cut of it, which is fair on one hand, but the other hand is like vastly different. And if he pitches one movie and then you're going to force him to do another one, that's not very creator driven. And the Ayer thing is the Ayer thing. So
don't bring him up. We'll be here another hour.
Yeah. What I'm saying though is I hope they take it in the direction of the Suicide Squad and the Batman and Joker, where they let the creators create and they kind of stood back. And I believe, like James Gunn says, he got some notes, but he didn't have to really take them, and he took some of them. And I think notes are good. I really believe notes are good when you're in a creative process, Scotty. Like if I did something and you watch it, you're like, I have an idea. It's better to be creative with others than just this is my vision. No one else can interfere. But at the same time, if I'm like, oh, his costume's going to be gold, and you're like, no, it should be hot pink. That's there are good notes and there are bad notes to take.
True.
And you got to know which ones. But you also have to be a little bit humble and acknowledge that maybe somebody else has an opinion that you didn't think of, or an idea that you didn't think of that will be beneficial for you.
Well, I feel like what DC doesn't do is like they're not humbled by the source material. Yeah. Like if you stick to the source material Like the animated movies, I always reference them. They do it well. They tell the canon accurate stuff, but they also branch off into this crazy territory, and people are okay with it because they've covered the canon stuff 100% accurately to a T. So when we see inaccuracies in the live action stuff, and then they just chalk it up to multiverse, now they're just going to do a crisis event to erase it all. It's like the real fans of the comics and the people that are going to bolster the movies that aren't even that great are not fully invested because we can see through it. We can see through the fact that you don't even read the stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to rant too much, but you can tell when a creator is connected to the source IP material. I feel like the audiences and fans are just too smart, man. We're too smart now. Too much information online, too fast. The vibe gets out there before the movies come out. Like, we can already tell from post-credit scenes and, like, you know, leaks. You can tell how much a leak from a show, it shows the passion behind it, or the lack thereof, I guess.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the passion that goes, right? Like all the direct, like a director shouldn't come in and direct a superhero movie as in DC as a gun for hire. Marvel might be a little bit different because of the Feige situation. Now, when DC gets their Feige, this
when
is
you
the
have an
thing,
overhead, right?
But this is the thing; they're looking for one for DC now. So when that overhead comes in, this slate of films that we're getting, what could it mean for that?
I think it's funny how now Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy is bringing this up, and now DC is like, "Oh yeah, we should probably find a Feige. Like, where have you guys been for the past 20, 10, 5 years? Like,
we're not going to talk about Star Wars because I have opinions. I think when
and it's apples to oranges because you have multiverses and like you can't do a non Mark Hamill Luke Skywalker. Like,
yeah, Star Wars is very different. And Star Wars fans are weird because they like to think that Star Wars isn't different, but they also want Star Wars to be different. But they're not accepting of either. Star Wars has to be different. But also I think Disney also, when they first acquired Lucasfilm, they thought they could make an MCU out of it, but they weren't there because like. The Star Wars isn't the MCU. It's not a bunch of comic book characters. It is the the Skywalker story, right? That's what it was. And I think, you know, and now they're like, we're gonna break free of the Skywalker saga. It's like, but then like I always say this to Brock on the Rebels Come podcast: what separates you from Valerian? Then, like at what point is it not Star Wars? Do you know what I mean? Like, like how? So that's and we're gonna. I think with the we're not gonna talk about Star Wars much longer, but I think with the Acolyte show, we'll kind of get an idea of what Star Wars is when you break a little bit free. But at the same time, that show is going to lead in to what we have. So Star Wars is this through line of one connective tissue. It's very different. It's more Lord of the Rings than Marvel, than the MCU, as I've always believed. And I think it should stay that way. And you got to look at it differently. And it's a little bit tough. And what I think they've figured it out now, though, with the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and Obi. Like they've kind of figured. And you don't have to like it all. I'm not suggesting that, but I think that is when they kind of figured out what Star Wars was, and they lost their way a little bit with the sequel trilogy, and now they're like, okay, Star Wars is firmly planted. But let's go back to DC now. Ben Affleck, Blue Beetle looks great, but Ben Affleck, is he in or he's out? There was a report on the weekend from Giant Freaking Robot, which you should never trust a report from Giant Freaking Robot. Thank you for doing that. You should never trust a report from Giant Freaking Robot because, you know, James Gunn, I think, has called them out. All these filmmakers have called them out on the past for kind of being bogus on their reports. And they said that Ben Affleck was signing like a $30 million picture deal to return as Ben Affleck. Everybody said this was bogus. It appears like it was bogus. Everyone's calling it out, saying that it was bogus. Now, that being said, the reports are at the end of The Flash that he kind of reaches out to Barry and says, come find us. That Ben Affleck Batman says, come find us. Barry, Michael Keaton is Batman, but Ben Affleck is around somewhere in the multiverse. So so now the report from KC Walsh online is saying that they're going to be doing Crisis of Infinite Earths, which is what they've always been said, which has been reported now for a while, but it's not going to be focused on Ben Affleck's Batman. What do you make of that?
I I don't know. With Crisis, the only universes that I think would factor in would be the Snyderverse, the Flash stuff, potential TV shows like even the Flash TV show, because they've already done that crossover. But I don't see him bringing in Pattinson. I don't see him getting crazy with like Titans or any of that stuff. So like I don't know how hyped a Crisis event can even be for DC. Like they don't have a lot of there's not a lot of stuff out there that's pretty hype. Not a lot of trending DC topics other than Black Adam, really. Shazam, like I'm hyped for Shazam. That's pretty much like even Aquaman 2. Pretty much know where that story's going, and it's Black Manta. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. That's how I am too. I think it's weird that I think the Crisis thing is what they could do when they get their figurehead in, their Feige head in.
Yeah,
Then
they're
they can do
messing
the
that up.
event. Yeah, they can do the event, and then they can just be like, "Okay, now this is where we're starting from." But I don't.
Rushing
I
it,
mean,
like Boogie said.
I'm a huge Ben Affleck Batman fan, so like I'm down like with more. But also Michael Keaton's coming in to be the Batman to kind of like usher in whatever. I mean, that Batman might die, and then Batgirl will be the main. But again, the Batgirl thing is very curious as well because we don't quite know what they're going to do with that based on the merger, right? Like, is it going to be on
Mm-hmm.
HBO Max? Are they going to throw it in the theater and just kind of like throw it out? Like, I don't know what the future holds for Batgirl at all. I mean, even Blue Beetle, who knows what the future holds? If the new figurehead comes in, they're
Mm-hmm.
not happy with it, they could just throw it out the door. So, this is the concern I have with DC at this moment in time. Is that we get all this fun stuff that looks like it's going to be great, and then like, but also we're looking for our new figurehead. Okay, that's great, but are they like? Is that figurehead going to see eye to eye with what's going on?
DC can barely get their Trinity off the ground. Like, let's be honest. They're struggling to even put together Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Now they're trying to branch off into all these other things and do a Crisis event. Like, let's slow it down, guys. Figure it out. You don't know who your damn Superman is, okay? Your DC films. Let's be real. Your DC films, and you don't know who your Superman is.
Yeah, it's
That's a priority number one on the whiteboard in every room there.
that. Yes, exactly. Like Superman. I mean, the Batman just proved that Batman sells.
Yeah,
Right.
we're
Like we
good with
went to go
Batman.
see the Batman opening night, opening weekend because it's Batman.
Yeah.
Like it's Batman. We went
Yep.
because it's Batman. I mean, it looked good. It didn't look, it wasn't a bad looking Batman movie, but like it was Batman. So we all went out. So I think if you make a good Superman movie that looks good, we're going to go and we're going to see Superman. But for some reason, they're so hesitant on that. Wonder Woman, they're doing, I guess, but like they botched up Wonder Woman 84. I mean, think what you want with the movie. They kept delaying it and like HBO Max only, and that ruined it. And then you look at people, oh, it's the second.
I think what
lowest.
saves Wonder Woman is the Crisis event and the evil Wonder Woman with like all the heads on the lasso of truth. Save Gal Gadot for that moment. Save her for the Crisis event.
Save her.
Period. She's done. Her third movie's what? What are you going to do?
Well, they're doing it. I don't know. They're in pre-production right now.
Pre-production.
Get
Get it off the ground. Show me some set photos.
Not yet.
Show me something better than Blue Beetle, all right?
I dare you. I think she just gave birth. Yeah, they won't show. No, Blue Beetle. The thing that show you better than Blue Beetle is Blue Beetle in Wonder Woman 2. All right, Scotty, let's wrap it up for the day. Why don't you plug your channel?
Yeah, Talks Holocrons on the YouTube. Very active on Twitter, Instagram. Also, a little side note. I don't know if anyone knows this show, Hunter x Hunter. But we're getting new episodes of Hunter x Hunter. It's a Netflix show. It's anime, but it's really good. Really good show. So
never heard of it, but I might check it out now. We'll see.
Yeah, man, I'm out here. Appreciate the talks.
All right, yeah, check out his channel. Enjoy. He's got a lot of fun stuff going on. I'm gonna eat my blue.
I'm gonna try one live right now.
Chips. I'm not going to try one. I bought it. It's blue. Cineplex. That's where we watch theaters here in Canada. It's Cineplex. Turn your tongue blue with the intensity of. Anyway, my wife is gonna hate every second I eat those, and I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of them. All right, Sky. Thanks for joining me today on Wednesday, Super Tuesday. We're a day late and a little bit, but it was a lot of fun. Love talking superhero stuff with you. We gotta do it again. We gotta talk Joker soon because there's more Joker talk. Always Joker talk.
All right.
Check out his channel. You've got more live shows and other shows coming up throughout the night, throughout the weeks, and everything.
Yeah.
And that's all. There's no ending, so I'm just gonna say thanks for watching, everybody, and may you be the master of your own universe.